Hey everyone, Adam here. Really excited to be back with you. As you can see, I have a new setup. Leave some comments down below if you like it or dislike it. Working on improving the studio here, trying to get things set up a little bit more professional, a little bit easier, a little bit better. So looking forward to continue working on creating videos. Now, this next video I've been really excited to release, and I'm looking forward to talking with you more about it and digging in really deep into how to sell your first $500 website and really help walk you through how to not only set up the basics, but finding your first client, how to really sell that website, really negotiate it, and then lastly, how to present yourself online when you don't really have much of a presence or even a portfolio before. So really excited today to walk through this with you. In this first video, I'm going to be covering the basics, and I just want to start out by saying really understand what you're doing here. And I know you don't really know much about what you're doing if you're starting out and you're kind of figuring out what's happening. That's why I'm creating this video, to give you kind of a nice leg up, give you some introduction to some ideas so that you can go out and research them and understand what works best for you and what you want to do for your business, for your personal goals, and also for your potential clients. So starting with what you're going to use as a platform to build websites, you need to understand and do your due diligence of what's going to be best for you and also for your client. Are you going to use Wix? Are you going to use Squarespace? Are you going to use WordPress? There's a few other options out there, like a static HTML site if you're familiar with that. But honestly, the best bet in my opinion is going to be starting out with WordPress. It's going to give you enough customizations. It's going to have enough plugins. It's going to have enough themes and other options for you to get started quickly and efficiently without putting limitations on you and not having to worry about subscriptions or other payment models there. But you need to understand that for you, I have other videos I've created. Take a look at my channel. I've talked about Wix, I've talked about Squarespace and WordPress, the pros and cons, what I would recommend for them and why I use them or I don't use them. And you can take a note from there and also do your own research. There's plenty of resources online for you to be able to dig in a bit deeper for each of those. Of course, if you have any questions or any comments, please leave a comment down below and let me know. I'm happy to respond to them and give a little extra support. So next thing you have to really understand are plugins and themes. So really big deal is I'm going to be talking mostly about WordPress here, but the same things apply for Squarespace and Wix if you're using those. So you're looking at themes, you're looking at modules or plugins or widgets, what add the context or abilities to do things to the website. So when you're looking into WordPress, when you're looking to building a website, the biggest thing you have to choose first is a theme. My recommendation is going to be using Elementor or Divi or one of the themes that are highly customizable and allow you to do multiple websites on the same platform. So for example, you can build a lawyer website with Divi, and then the next week you can build a plumber's website with Divi. You can customize it how you wish. There's a ton of demos and content and templates out there. You also can go out and purchase child themes. Child themes are basically an overlay over the regular theme that preserves the custom code or custom changes that are out there that don't get overwritten when you update things, right? So you can go out and buy one of those for fairly cheap, probably range from $20 to $100 for a child theme if you find one you really like, but you don't have to because there's a lot of free ones out there as well. You just need to make sure that it's fitting what you need and it's not limiting you from doing the project well. So the first things first is I'm going to leave a link. I'm doing great today. I'm going to leave a link down below. And I'm going to let you know where you can find Elementor, where you can find Divi. These are paid themes. You're going to have to pay for them, but you can use them again and again. A lot of them have unlimited licenses, or you have a vast majority, like you can use it up to 100 or 500 websites, right? So don't worry about spending a little bit of money up front. It's going to save you a lot of time and effort in the back end because you're not having to use different themes every time for different websites. You're using the same thing. It helps you with your processes. So number one, find a theme that works for you, what you like. My recommendation is to check out Elementor and Divi. Those are going to give you your biggest leg up from the get-go. Now, plugins. There's a lot of plugins out there. You need to make sure you do your research on them before you select one because they could be vulnerable. There could be problems with it. There's a lot of issues there, but if it's in the repository for WordPress and you know it's up to date with the latest WordPress, then you should be okay. Just make sure you're testing it before you're fully using it. Now, with plugins, you can make sure you're understanding the basics like WooCommerce. You're understanding security plugins like WordFence. You're understanding optimization plugins like WP Rocket, which is a more premium plugin. There's many out there like Auto Optimize, WP Super Cache, Fastest Cache. There's a lot of them out there that you can take a look at for optimizing websites and making sure they load quickly. I'm not saying you have to spend a ton of time on this, but you should understand the different components of plugins and what you can do with them and what you can't do with them. So when you're building a website, you're not over promising what you can do so that you can stay within the limitations of a theme or limitations of a plugin. So you're able to perform and build a website that is really great and meets what the client needs without going into custom. Because if you build into custom, if you do something outside of scope or outside of what the plugin or theme can do, you're going to be adding a ton of time to your project because you're going to have to go and figure out how to build a custom. It also creates more complexities so that it might cause problems with other things. It could break, it could not update properly. There's a ton of things that could go wrong. So until you understand how to do it properly and how to do it well, I would highly recommend staying in the confines of the plugin and theme and doing a lot there, because you can do so much nowadays with this that it shouldn't be a limitation as long as you're making sure you understand what the client needs. So next, you need to understand domain and hosting. One of the biggest things that people make the mistake of is they go with the cheapest, most shared host like Bluehost, GoDaddy, HostGator. All of those are going to give you issues one time or another. Now, there's people out there that like them, that they've never had problems with them. My experience has been the opposite. I've changed and switched people away from Bluehost and GoDaddy hundreds, if not thousands of times with working with clients because I've had so many issues with them. The load time, the support, other issues that you just don't know about, right? So one of the biggest things that I really want to encourage you on is take a look at GoodHost, invest in it upfront for your own website, but also for recommendations for clients. They have affiliate links. I'm going to put some down below. You're going to check out SiteGround. There's Kingsta, there's WP Engine and Flywheel. Those are some really good hosts. There's combinations of shared hosting to virtual private servers or cloud hosting. There's also Cloudways, which is a little bit more advanced. I don't recommend that to start with, but I would say check it out. It's something where you can really, really do some good things if you know how to set up servers and you understand how to monitor them. You don't have to do pure DevOps. If you even know what that is, DevOps is something you should look into, but it's not something you need to worry about right now. Don't be distracted by that. Go with a simpler option and make sure you can do that really, really well before you add more complexity to your setup, right? For domains, making sure that you're understanding how domains work with DNS settings, with emails, with MX records, all of these things are very important. So if you go in and work with a client who already has a website, you need to know how to switch over DNS records to point to new hosting or to update settings. You need to understand if a client doesn't have a website, how to set it up for them, where to make recommendations for them properly. So take a look at Namecheap for domains. That's my recommendation. There's a multitude of the others out there, but my recommendation is stick with something that's simple. You can change everything you need right in the dashboard, and you can set up DNS and other settings right there. They have options for extensions and advanced DNS settings if you need to. And the amazing thing is it comes with free privacy for free, so you don't have to worry about people who is like looking you up and knowing who owns what domain. This is not just good for you, but it's great for your clients so they don't get spam emails from random people all over the world. So that's something just to note when you're looking at domains and setups for yourself, for your clients, if they need a domain. If you're running into issues with clients that already have a setup and you don't think it's the best setup, you are also able to make recommendations for them to change. That could also be a nice upsell in a project so you can make sure they're set up properly from the get-go. But before you're able to do that, before you're able to recommend it, take a look and understand it for yourself as you set up your own website and as you're building and growing. This is going to help you immensely from the start because you're not going to have issues down the road if you know what you're doing up front with these items. Now, for me, I've made these mistakes. I used Bluehost from the start. I didn't register things properly. It caused a lot of problems for me and also for my clients, and it took a ton of time to transfer it and rebuild or reset up everything in a proper way. So that was an amount of time I actually did this with about 10 clients at the time. It was a nightmare process. I would not recommend it, but it all worked out in the end. I learned a lot. I learned a bit of DevOps. I learned how to set up websites properly. I learned how to understand the difference between shared hosting and cloud hosting or VPS. That is not something I want you to go through. So this is why I'm bringing this up now, because this is incredibly important. It doesn't seem like the biggest deal. You want to get to building websites. You want to get to doing these things, all of that. That's great, but slow down. Make sure you do your due diligence before you jump in, because this could really save you a lot of time and cost down the road. Lastly, I really want you to set up a QA process when you're delivering a website. So you built the website, you set it up, make sure that it looks good on mobile, make sure it looks good on tablet, desktop screen sizes, make sure you're testing on different browsers. There's tools out there, or you can just take a look at it yourself on different phones or different screen sizes. You can adjust it. My recommendation here is take time to do that. Schedule it in your time. Make sure nothing's misspelled. Make sure the pictures are correct. Make sure you line up everything the client wanted from the get-go, the deliverables you set, that you delivered on them, and you're at that level before you send it to the client for review. Now, in this process, you're doing a theme setup, right? So you're not really doing much designing. You're really kind of selecting a theme and inputting their information into it and changing and tweaking it, maybe adding more pages. So the review process should be pretty simple. You talk with them about the theme, you find a theme they like, you set it up for them, and then you show them the final product in the next couple of days. It should be a very simple, very quick turnaround in that regard. So don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. And also make sure that you're watching your time. And if you're spending more than 25, 30 hours on a website, either look at what you're doing, or making sure that you're not over promising the future for when you build future websites, hopefully. So this is the building basics. This is something you need to know. If you have any comments or concerns, please leave a comment down below. I would be happy to answer any questions, or if you have any ideas or anything else you'd like to share, or would like to have things explained in more detail, I'm happy to help with that. If you'd be so kind to like, comment, and subscribe, I would be hugely appreciative to this as I grow my channel. And I would love to be able to help you grow your business and be able to get you to that first sale and beyond. So good luck, happy building, and we'll talk soon.